Today on the SWAGtember Show, we're going to talk about the newsletter coming from Pinnacle Entertainment Group. We're going to talk about some Kickstarters. We're going to talk about a few new products for Savage Worlds that you can put into your game or have your own game with. And then our main topic today, we are going to talk about SWAGtember VII 7. We're going to talk about SWAGtember 7. This September is a very good September for Savage Worlds. So I'm glad for all of you who are joining me to hang out and talk about SWAGtember. I'm excited. Let's go ahead and jump in and start with the newsletter. Let's go ahead and pull this up here. Share this tab. There we go. So big thing on for this newsletter is, hey, it's SWAGtember. It's the one of my favorite months for Savage Worlds and covering Savage Worlds content, because there is a lot of content we get to talk about today during the month of SWAGtember, and you can all take a look at that stuff as well. So let's go ahead and we'll get into that a little bit more. But basically, for those who don't know, I'll go over again a little bit more later. SWAGtember is a time for you to get a bunch of Savage Worlds Savage Worlds Adventurers Guild content for a bundle price of like about $29.95, so $30 to get a whole bunch of content. We'll go over that here in a moment. Coming down here, we have the September sale on DriveThruRPG. So in addition to SWAGtember, there's also this really big sale where a lot of products for Savage Worlds, both Pinnacle official products as well as a bunch of third-party Ace stuff and even some Adventurers Guild stuff, all are on sale for up to 40% off. So that's really cool to see. We're glad to kind of get into talk about that. Looking forward to talking about that a little bit more and seeing what kind of stuff we got going on. I was just going to open this up real quick, and we'll just kind of take a look at a few of the things that we have on sale. Again, we have like Fans Companion, Horror Companion, Science Fiction Companion, $6 for the Savage Worlds Adventures Edition. You have things like Ring of Spragos for what's going to eventually be Scarred Lands for Savage Worlds. We got Deadlands, we got Pathfinder, we got the Secret World, Starbreaker. Coming down here too, like you have community titles are in here. We have Sprawl Runners, one of the best supplements for running Savage Worlds games for Cyberpunk. We got Jade Dragon, ATS Corinthia. These are all things that are in the swag license. So community content, lots of really good stuff, up to 40% off. Go take a look and see if there's anything that you would want to get. Ones that I would absolutely recommend getting. Vermilion, I'm a big fan of, so recommend that. It's going from $18 to that $12. Check that out for sure. I have my copy back there. It's great. So yeah, just take a look at all these things and just see if there's anything that would be good for you want to pick up for your games. Let's see, going back to the newsletter. We have 1 week until the launch of Deadlands Dark Ages. We have been waiting at least 5 years for this. I think I remember looking up recently, looking at the Sins of Our Fathers quick start real quick, and it said coming in 2020. It's 2025. It's been 5 years, but we're finally getting it, and I am stoked. I think eventually we'll have to talk about the Kickstarter. I have some people lined up for the next 2 weeks to talk about their own things, but I would love to take a deep dive into the Kickstarter for Deadlands Dark Ages. Probably about 3 weeks from now. Should still be while it's still happening, but it'll definitely not be the day it starts. Super excited for that. If you sign up now to get notified of any content, when it launches, essentially, you can get a cool little pin with your backing of a physical product. So go ahead, check that out. Super excited for Deadlands Dark Ages for the next story for Deadlands. I haven't played a lot of Deadlands, to be clear, but I'm just excited for a medieval Deadlands. So I think that just sounds like so much fun. This week in Savage Universe, Brandon Verhalen from Starville Studios will be talking about their next Kickstarter for the Secret World, which is a Kickstarter for the Secret World's not print on demand. So right now we have you can get it print on demand, but they're going to do a special print run of the Secret Worlds. It's like a limited edition, special edition run. That you can go over, and at 10 p.m. Eastern time, you can see Brandon and JM talk about this latest Kickstarter for Secret World. So check that out. There's also going to be some other things like dice, action decks, cards, bennies, connection tokens, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, definitely check out that if you're interested in more things for your Secret World game. All right, so that's the newsletter. Heading on to Kickstarters. Again, we have the main one right now is Deadlands Dark Ages coming. I need to add in the one for Starville Studios, but Deadlands Dark Ages next Tuesday, September 9th. Check it out. I'm super stoked for it. And we definitely need to talk about it for sure. New products. There are a few new products that I wanted to highlight that looked interesting. I wanted to kind of mention. And the first one here is Sylvan Sentinels. This is coming over as a adventure skill product. And this is actually how I got it. This is part of the SWAGtember release. It is a micro setting, and it also has a few solo rules, and is set in the same world as Saga of the Goblin Horde. If you're not familiar with Saga of the Goblin Horde, it is a free product you should also go check out. It's it's a 2018 Silver Any winner. Definitely worth checking out. So same world as that, but it's just a micro setting with a bunch of pre-gen characters. I think there's 9 as both novice and as a seasoned rank. There is a adventure inside, and yeah, so there's a lot, and like I said, solo rules as well. So check that out for sure. The next thing, and this is sort of new, sort of a mixed bag here. The SWAGtember trilogy for SWADE. So this is a set of 3 adventures that were originally written for like D&D and like 3.5, and I think it was like 3.5 and 5th edition. I ran the Gauntlet of SWAGtember in 5th edition, and I have it now as part of in the Savage Worlds system, and it is part of the Scarred Lands that would, again, for usually for D&D, and it's being adapted for Savage Worlds. I'm super excited about that. I'm really looking forward to that. But in the meantime, until that comes out, we at least have these adventures that we can run, this trilogy you can run with pre-generated characters, with some rules that you need to know about the world so that you can play these adventures. Yeah, give us a nice big glimpse into what that's going to look like when it finally releases. You can get all 3 of these adventures as a bundle for $25.39. If you only want a few of them, there are a few sales going on. I think they're part of the sales as well for not SWAGtember, but for Savage September, essentially, is what we're looking at. So take a look at that. Between the 3 of these, we're looking at 312 pages. So some of these are definitely beefier than the other ones. The Gauntlet SWAGtember is actually the first one, and I think it goes Gauntlet, Dagger, Ring. And so yeah, there's a lot of content in between these three adventures to digest. So definitely take a look at that. This one came across, and I have this through SWAGtember. And it's Steel Leviathans, a Megacorp source book. It is just a book with a bunch of different Megacorps, and the things that are go along with that you can include into your Cyberpunk games or whatever kind of games like that you're interested in. There's 12 of them in this with maps, the information on their logos, CEOs, all the kind of stuff. And it's specifically written for Savage Worlds, but you can use it system agnostically. So take a look at that. That was pretty cool. This one I just saw this morning. It's called Savage Ashlands. And I honestly, a lot of it is just that the cover really kind of grabbed me when I first saw it. This is I'd say probably like a micro setting that takes place in a post-apocalyptic campaign of Savage Adventure Edition, after a event called the Blaze, and where everything's now harsh, it is ash, cold, everything's dangerous, and yeah, humanity's just clinging on to survival in society. So you have unique factions. There's some lore, some character creation options, some equipment options, a bestiary, ready to play adventure, and some event guidance for game masters to run this particular setting. So take a look at that. It does require, obviously, Adventure Edition to run. And last one, I think this one also saw today. Sherwood, The Legend of Robin Hood for SWADE. It's coming from Battlefield Press International. They're well known for several other Savage Worlds products as well. But this is a way to play Robin Hood. So if you want to play Robin Hood and his merry band of thieves, take a look at this. You can play during in England during the Third Crusade and all the kind of stuff that you expect out of playing in a Robin Hood game. So absolutely take a look at that. Yeah, so that was cool. All right, so now let's dive into SWAGtember. And before we do, let's make sure I'm not missing any comments from the streams. Everybody, thanks for watching. And if you guys do have any comments about any of these products, if you know more information than I do, please leave a comment down below. I'll happily listen to your comments so we can talk about what's in these products, what's in this bundle, and all the cool things that are going on. So let's go ahead and take a look at, let me pull this up here. I'll show this tab. There we go. Let me see if I can make myself a little bit bigger though. Yeah, that's better. All right. So the first one here we have is, so real quick again, here's the SWAGtember products for the 7th edition. This is SWAGtember, the bundle Awakens. I think the last few ones, maybe all of them, have been named after Star Wars movies. Obviously, it's the bundle Awakens, the Force Awakens. I don't know what's going to happen once we get past 9. I don't know. We may have to change up our naming scheme. But there are some rules for how products are in this. The person who runs this asked that all the products that are incorporated in this are obviously they're going to be from Swag. So they're going to be Ace Adventures Guild licensed to put stuff on, not Ace licensed. Meaning that it's basically community content. There's a weaker, not weaker, but like a lesser license on them. They're basically published through Pinnacles, and Pinnacle gets a little bit more of the cut from it, but you can pretty much publish with less of an oversight, essentially. It's still oversight, but it's just not as much, or less strict requirements, I'll say. And there's a lot of people who publish a lot of really good stuff through this. Now, the request again is that everything that you submit, if you're a creator and you want to be part of this bundle, the request is that you put stuff that you've made in the past year. So anything that's been released in the past year, go ahead and that can be submitted. If you haven't submitted anything in the past year, or you haven't made anything in the past year, you can submit other products from previous years as well. So if you look through this, you might see a few things that were in the bundle last year, and that's okay as long as if you haven't created anything in a while, go for it. You can put other things in here. There's also some things in here that I just own because I bought them ahead of time because I really wanted them. So first two things we have here is 100 random encounters, or 100 encounters, 100 random encounters. One for Moorlands and Heaths, one for the Road to Wilderness, and that's just a simple. You take your D100 and your D10, roll them, see what's on the table, and that can be your random encounter that you run into. And it's written for Savage Worlds, so certain things will call for science rolls or survival rolls or notice rolls, stuff like that, and different bonuses and such. So that it is written for specifically Savage Worlds in mind, so you don't have to do any sort of conversion from like D&D things like DC 10, DC 15 into Savage Worlds. Though if you did that, it's pretty simple to do that. But that's what this is. I did look through these two. They're simple, give you inspiration for things that you can kind of incorporate into your game. If you're trying to be a little more improv, try to think on your feet a little more, roll these tables, and you get exactly what you're looking for. The next thing is the Quick Start Guide to Investigations. This product is just an easy, simple little product to. Here, let me. I'm gonna stop my screen share real quick. I need to share my whole entire window, actually. Window. There we go. There, that's better. Although now I'm small again. There we go. So this is a product that basically is supposed to just kind of help you, walk you through how to run a investigation style game using Savage Worlds. It goes through using different skill efficiencies, when you should and shouldn't call for die rolls, when you should use more specialized skills, how to make sure that your players are building a cohesive team, making sure that your characters are memorable investigators, and like looking at them like Sherlock Holmes or Judge D to figure out what kind of things make a good investigator, that kind of thing. How to do lies and deception, how to use different situational rules, and how to use bennies, et cetera, et cetera. So this is it's a really good product of just giving you a general concept of like how to run investigation games. It's giving you kind of like the outline of like more philosophical understanding of how to run games than I would say like necessarily the nitty gritty of like, okay, you need to do this, then you do this, then you need to do this, then you need to do this to create games. I'll get to a few games I would look at for examples of how to like design a adventure for investigation type games. But this at least gives you kind of the idea, the general like thought pattern that you should have about running these kind of games inside of Savage Worlds. So definitely take a look at this product. And it's one of a really good one inside this bundle. Next, I believe this one was in last year's bundle as well, but it's called An Unexpected Wedding. And essentially you are helping one of your player characters to get married, and the rest of you are trying to plan the wedding. There's just a lot of like fun little things inside this adventure. It's really good for one shots or convention play, that kind of thing. So don't expect to get a whole entire campaign out of this. I don't know if you could, but it's meant to be like a more of a one shot thing that you can do with your friends. All right, Cold War Skirmishes Lionheart. This is a Savage Worlds product that basically gives you a general overview, and we'll just kind of click into it here, of everything you need to know about British armed forces during World War II. During Cold War, not during World War II. During the Cold War. Gear, weapons, armor, all the kind of thing. So you can basically run a skirmish game. Something people sometimes people forget that Savage Worlds actually started out as a skirmish game through the Great Rail Wars miniatures game that came off Deadlands. So you had Deadlands as I believe a D20 based game, and they had another system for a skirmishing game called the Great Rail Wars, and from that system developed out Savage Worlds. And so you can still use Savage Worlds for skirmishes games. You can still take the rules of Savage Worlds and use it very easily inside to create some sort of skirmish. And this is one of those examples of what a product that gives you information and what you need to know in order to do so. Next two things, we have some more RAM tables. These are D66. We have evil force encounters and rural encounters. Now, one of the things you should know at D66 is that it does not mean roll 66 side die. It means roll 2 6s. One thing to note, though, is that this is going to give you a total of 36. Math is hard. Yeah, 36. That's right. 36 results. And that's because you're not adding them up. You're going to roll them, and one of them is going to be your 10 spot. One's going to be your 1 spot. So like I just rolled, and I got a 5 and a 2. So that's 52. So let's actually pull this up real quick. Do some evil force encounters because that sounds fun. I'll open this up. Let me just do a quick roll. 51. I got that. Okay, so I guess I'm getting 50 something. 51. I got Watchful Menagerie. Rustling as of animals can be heard coming from the underbrush and the tree canopies. By sound of it, these noises are coming from small animals and birds, and occasionally one can be seen to confirm this. Disturbingly, it seems as if the animals are keeping a careful eye on the travelers and deliberately stalking them. Though they would not be a threat individually, it sounds like there are an awful lot of them. Any animal of small or smaller size in an area may attack. In numbers, they will be equivalent to one or more small, medium, or large swarms, if you look at Swade. And so these are just to give you ideas for what encounters can look like in a situation. So they're not to be it's not the full encounters. They're not giving you all the information, but to give you some ideas so that you can kind of go forward and present these inside of your game. So these are two tables inside of a bundle, 2 D66 rolls. All right. The next one here, this is I believe an adventure for Orange Hexagon. So I wasn't able to review all of these ahead of time, so I'm not all of these I'm going to be able to give information on. This is Death Bowl Legends number 3, Madam and Thelma. I thought there was more this was part of a big, also it's part of a bigger series. But it's about the Notorious Panhandle Syndicate runs crime in the Cimmerian, Cimmerian and Texas counties. Made up of rural miscreants, Palacoots family, Sarah. Yeah, so it's just a little adventure for this like weird surreal science fiction setting. Weird Dust Bowl. I think it's part of like the Orange Hexagons, but I can't remember like the name of this like setting and system. All right. The next one is First Flight. This is I believe, an adventure for Void Runners. So if you're not familiar with Void Runners, I'll just pull that up real quick. Oop. Void Runners. Did I spell that wrong? There we go. Void Runners, Ravnivory Empire Revised Edition. This is a campaign setting, science fiction campaign setting, and this is just a adventure for it. On cruise, Val Voyage leads to another flight. So there's quite a few things inside of this bundle. Inside of the Void Runners like setting, there's a lot of support from this creator on like creating more adventures, more options, more character options, fleshing out the setting. So if you want something that's like a science fiction setting that's being well kept up, Void Runners is one of your good bets. So really cool little thing there. Fundraiser. We got 3 fundraisers. The fundraiser series is a series of a different basically setting rules and edges and such that you can put into your game that kind of change a little bit, like small aspects of your game. Like the first one here is adventure cards, like how you can like redo the adventure cards and how they work. The second one is about how you can change up how you use the action deck. So if you have your cards for initiative, you can change up what happens maybe on jokers. Maybe jokers do different things. Maybe you can get a card that says, hey, when you get on a heart, you get something special. That kind of thing. The last one here, this conviction. What are the unique ways you can do conviction inside your game? Edges or setting rules, that kind of thing. And a lot of them there's a lot of really cool ideas inside of them. There's some that I'm like, I think are really good ideas. Some of them I'm like, it could work in the right situation. But I think that you should definitely check those out. And if you get the bundle, definitely read through those because there's a lot of really cool ideas inside these on like different ways that you can use your cards. There's also one for bennies, and I think there's another one too, but I can't think of what the other one is. The one that's missing here is the bennies one. All right, got a few products from John Doom. The first one here, we got Garden Gnome Massacre. I believe this is by John Doom. Yeah, John Doom. This is I can tell this is supposed to basically be like a B horror movie type thing. At least that's like my take on it. And it is about a garden gnome massacre. Where you are just trying to survive at an after party from after prom. So can you do it? You could play through and find out. 1980s horror-inspired romp. There you go. The next one is one of the Adventures in Doom. That is a Heart of the Sphinx. When the idea I get when I see like the Adventures in Doom, I think both of them kind of gave this kind of vibe. I was like, for me, like a old-timey adventure feel. Something more akin to like the original Indiana Jones films. This one's 1930s Race Against the Clock. You're part of the Guardians of Antiquity, and you're looking for the Heart of the Sphinx. So yeah, so it contains the full adventure, pre-made characters, and a map that you can use the VTT. Perfect. This next one, Instruments of the Beast. This is one I did not get. I don't know anything really about. Let's take a quick look here. This is a supplement to the SWAGtember Fantasy Companion. It's a collection of 30 new magical instruments crafted from the remains of fantastical creatures. Interesting. It references powers presented in the Tomes and Prayers fantasy add-on by a lot of these things, like in these fancy add-ons. There's one, the particular one that I know someone keeps referencing for weapons. They are really well done, and a lot of people really like a lot of the things that are inside them. So if you're like, curious about that, or you're not sure if that's like really going to be anything interesting, it's going to be something interesting. You should go take a look at it. Magus Rogue's Guide to the Sprawls, Chromed Edition, a revised and expanded Sprawl Runners supplement. I believe, I think I owned this prior to this bundle, but maybe it was like the first version. But basically, this is a updated guide to using basically Sprawl Runner as an additional supplement, basically for like cyberpunk type games. So you can see here, yeah, 2023 SWAG award winner. So this was this has been around for a bit, but it's just another good product for using inside of a cyberpunk game. If you're going to use a science fiction companion, take a look at it. Yeah, it should be really good for any kind of cyberpunk game you're running. Another fancy add-on. This is minor effects. So basically, like adding like more cantrips. So if you're looking at like the Fantasy Companion or Pathfinder for Savage Worlds, we have cantrips in those products. You don't really have cantrips otherwise in Savage Worlds because powers cost power points, and these are just minor effects that your characters can still do either with your powers or what have you, that don't really have any big impact, but you can still use them kind of like as a cantrip. You can just do it, and giving some rules to that. Generally speaking, I feel like the players can just say, hey, can I do this with my magical effect, just to do this thing for story reasons. I'm like, yeah, cool, you're good. You can just go ahead and do that. You're not going to have to spend power points. That fits with what the power you already have is. So yeah, but having some rules around that or some my inspiration for that is a good idea. So I definitely recommend reading that as well. Monster Tech in Arcanaware. This one I did not get a chance to read. Let's take a look at it real quick. Many settings pitch the heroes and heroines against adversaries with vastly different and more powerful often more powerful capabilities. To stand a chance of success, the group needs to rely on ingenuity and teamwork. But what if there's a way of level the playing field just a bit more? Monster Tech in Arcanaware introduces new ways to power up your heroes using their opponent's own abilities against them for a price, not that risk. Interesting. This is something heavily inspired by mechanics found in Rippers and Rippers resurrected books, expanded and adapted to work of art. Okay, I was gonna say like this sounds a lot like Rippers, where you take the parts of these creatures that you fight and kill, and you incorporate them into your own body to give yourself a different like buffs, but there is like a cost to it. So good to acknowledge that this is definitely inspired by those mechanics, and you're just expanding on them. That's cool to see. Alrighty. Next thing, okay, Orange Hexagon. Yeah, there we go. That's the information I was looking for before. Orange Hexagon is again this broader setting for Savage Worlds. This is particularly Cimarron Bill's Cowboy Museum Gun Store. So part of the Weird Dust Bowl. Yeah, do that. And we also have Orange Hexagon, the 444 killer. Is this just an adventure? Yeah, this is an adventure. Okay. Or I think this is like a location. Yeah. Overview of firearms available. New shotguns, revolvers, rifles, etc. Yeah, there you go. Makes sense. All right. Then we got the Project Stalker Escape for Salt and Chrome one sheet. So Salt and Chrome is a particular cyberpunk setting that kind of relies on sprawl runners a bit. It's something that's not fully fleshed out yet. There's a quick start guide for it, but if you want to get the whole thing, I think we're still waiting for that to be released. But there's enough in the quick start that you can still run some adventures like this one sheet called Project Stalker. So this will probably require you to get the other quick start at the very least in order to run this. But I could be wrong. Okay, actually requires sprawl runners. So I think it's been the same world as Salt and Chrome, but really all you need to run it is sprawl runners, which makes sense. You can see here Salt and Chrome Cyber Preview Edition. This is just a little plot point campaign, and this is just the preview of what's going to come. Which I'm again super excited for. Again, the Savage Worlds Adventurers Guild product. Something that's like just really cool about the community around Savage Worlds is that there's just so many good products, even amongst the community products, where like it's maybe not as polished as certain products, but honestly, there's some products in here, a lot of products in here that are just very well polished or very well done, and in my opinion, it could be an Ace licensed product with a little bit of tweaking. So, yeah. Redfin Island Resort. I believe this is a one-shot adventure. 4 or 5 hours of tropical entertainment. Loot the Drowned Luxury Resort. detailed in the hand-drawn map. Avoid the man-eating redfin sharks. Get infested with the eggs of the Pitcairn sea salamanders. That sounds good. And get killed in interesting ways. There you go. No characters are provided, but you can use Horror Companion pre-gens, or you can use Oracle for the myriad of characters found in the fantastic Trailer Park Shark Attack. Again, that is a Savage Worlds Adventurers Guild product, and is one of the most highly recognized products from like inside Savage Worlds, because it's just a great fun time where your characters are constantly dying. Think like Tremors, but with sharks. We have a robot bestiary, so it's a bestiary or a bestiary, whatever you can call it, full of robot monsters that you can, or robot enemies, with enemies that you can have fight. That really cool little piece there. Scent of Magic, I'm pretty sure I remember this from before 2025. So no, it's I can't have remembered it before, so I don't know much about this. This is a Savage one sheet for. What did it say? Savage one sheet for Adlerfeld. Adlerfeld? City of Adlerfeld relies on the magical substance of Axonite to power its wondrous contraptions. A shipment containing the substance has gone missing. Powerful Magus House wants it back, and the heroes are hired to do it. All right, so there you go. This is a one-sheet adventure Adderfeld, a fantasy world. Man, is there? I'm not familiar with Adderfeld. Is anyone in the comment? Anyone familiar with Adlerfeld? Because I am not. No, it's just this. Okay, interesting. I wonder if that's like a preview of like things to come from this creator. That'd be cool. No, not too far. There we go. This was definitely wasn't last year, because I remember going over this one a lot. This is Veritas. It is a really interesting little product. Yeah, I don't open this one here. It's basically some level. It's like a sanity rule, essentially. Like you get Veritas, which is truth, and it's basically, it's like I said, it's like a sanity, but you go up in as a skill die. So it's like a trait die, but it's not tied to anything in particular, and you can use it as a skill. But you can't raise it with your advances instead, and you can only increase it by being like exposed to mental trauma, things that men should not know, and it gives you like insight into how the world truly works, and you can even use it as an arcane background to like use magic, but it doesn't have a possible effect where it's going to like cause you to have problems. So it's just a really interesting way of doing like sanity, where basically like you gain more knowledge, you become more knowledgeable of the world, but you're still going kind of slowly insane along the way. So I think very, very cool product. My friend of mine, one of my players, and I have talked about introducing that particular set of rules into our games before. All right, so that's Veritas. We have Shadowcraft. Shadowcraft is a bunch of different arcane backgrounds and powers that you can use, kind of like using shadow magic, essentially. And they're based. One of the things I think is interesting about this particular product is that it's a bunch of powers, but they're unlike most powers, which are very generic. These are not. These are very like very specific. You could theoretically, you can still reskin them and everything, but like they are, the way they're written as more, hey, you're doing this particular thing, but like jump like with shadow. Like the trapping is kind of like already written inside it. You could read the trapping a little bit differently, but like you still kind of like, you know, you get all that trapping and everything like working in a certain way. But I think it's a very interesting product, and I think it's got a lot of like cool like creatures and other things that you can do with shadows. So if you like shadows, you want to be shadowy, like a little bit of an edgelord, I'd say check this out. So it's a cool little product with a lot of different like cool ideas in it. All right. Next thing is another Salt and Chrome one sheet. It was a Christmas inspired one. It's lay one down. So basically, you're trying to help Santa. in like a cyberpunk setting, which is kind of fun. Yeah, you literally just getting at Santa's asking you for help. Someone is messaging me. I'm not sure what's going on here. Oh, okay, it's fine. So take a look at that. That's really fun. Slew Squad, I'm pretty sure was in last year's. I'm pretty sure it was. Slew Squad is one, again, I talked about how there's a few products I feel like are just like really well done and could, with a little bit of work, could be ace licensed. And I think Slew Squad's one of them. Let's see here. I've got my copy of Slew Squad right here. And what this is you are basically doing Scooby-Doo or, some other thing like Scooby-Doo as like your teens who have a rock band and you have a pet and you've got a little car and you go around and you solve monsters. You figure out, you solve mysteries and try to figure out what's going on with the monsters. Like who are these monsters and why are they attacking? And ends up it's Mr. Peters from next door because he really wanted the land underneath for all the oil that was there or something like that. It's a really good book on like kind of it's I think how they say it's not a campaign setting. It is a what was the word that was used? It's almost like one of the companion books where it's like it gives you all the rules you need to know to like have a for a certain style play, right? Like for this kind of style play, here's all the rules, everything you need to think about. You can make adjustments to make things a little more gritty, a little less gritty, a little more. Like, are you making a little more cartoony? Or are you making a little more gritty, realistic? You can make them more like a pup named Scooby-Doo or more like Mystery Incorporated. I like Mystery Incorporated, by the way. I also like a pup named Scooby-Doo. Like those, that one and What's New Scooby-Doo might be like my 3 favorite Scooby-Doos. Anyways, so it's a really good product. You can get this, and you can get Sleuth Without Squad, which is rules for how you can do Sleuth Squad as a solo player. So if you want to play solo rules by yourself, you have this product that helps you with that. And then this one I'm not familiar with. It's a To Rule Them All. So it's a 32-page splat book, unveils secret hiddens of the Tiana Mall, delocations, NPCs, clues, plus a short adventure to test the skills of sleuths. So there you go. Very, very well done series of products for Sleuth Squad. Small cases. Okay. We need to talk about City Guard Chronicles for a moment because if you know me, you know that I love the City Guard Chronicles. Absolutely love them. I, in fact, have a printout of all the adventures in my little binder here of City Guard Chronicles. I think I still need to print out the one sheets actually, but all of the full adventures I've got print out here, or at least some of them. Maybe it's only 3 of them. I've run 3 of them so far, so it makes sense that it might be 3. But really, just really well done mystery solving. So in the City Guard Chronicles, you play as members of the City Guard in some undefined fantasy location. I always imagine it being Amorkport, the one from Discworld, and playing in like that, just kind of like the Guards series and everything. Although I never run my games that silly, but you get the idea. You play as a city guard, and there's some sort of mystery that you need to go and solve. Maybe it's who committed this murder. Maybe it's what happened to this girl that got kidnapped. Maybe it's something else, something like that. I believe I'm all set to actually run one of these for a convention game at the Pittsburgh Gaming Expo. So if you are in the Pittsburgh area and you want to come play Savage Worlds, I should be running one of these adventures for that. Don't read it ahead of time. Just wait. Get this bundle and then wait. But I cannot recommend the one sheets nor the actual big, like the longer adventures, more highly for games of how to run investigative games. Especially the longer adventures are written so well to naturally let players kind of go through the motions of getting everything. They know naturally what they need to go do. And it's really easy to kind of follow along with the players and guide them and you don't have to guide them because they know what they need to do and everything's kind of there. There is a good sheet that kind of lays out all the possible locations that they would go to naturally next, and like how to go from one to the other. There is a list of characters all in one sheet, like a personae dramatis, like a list of the characters and who they are in the game, so that all the important NPCs and everything. So it's really good to just get that. I just take that one piece of paper out, and I have the characters on one side. The other side has the like the scene, like I'll call it like a flow diagram, and it just makes it so much easier to run. So really well done products. Solo game guide for Savage Worlds. This is like the product if you want to play solo adventures in Savage Worlds and you don't want to look at any other like anything else, like what's the I think like the GM emulator or one of those other oracles for gaming. You can just get this, and it's specifically designed with Savage Worlds in mind. I read through these rules. They're not very deep, I'll say that, but they give you a lot of room for kind of creativity on how you like what you want to do. So definitely a good product to take a look at if you're into solo gaming. We have more creatures for Void Runners. So these are a bunch of monsters that you can put into your game. We talked about Steel Leviathans earlier in the new product section. There's a bunch of 12 corporations for your Cyberpunk games, and like details about them, like who they are, who the CEO is, what the CEO is desiring to do, all that kind of stuff. While we're here, we should mention, we get to this point, the invitation to the Savage Worlds Discord community. This bundle is put together specifically amongst all the creators that are in the unofficial, place in air quotes, unofficial Savage Worlds Discord server. I think it's unofficial in that it's not technically like a run by Pinnacle or anything, but it is the most official you can get without being officially official for a Savage Worlds Discord server. There is actually one other Discord server that Pinnacle uses for their games whenever they do like Halloween, Halloween, like an online festival essentially for Savage Worlds and such. But if you want to like really talk to a lot of other Savage Worlds community players and creators and all that kind of stuff, you should definitely go check out this Discord server. Just go to that link inside of this product and join the server. It's great. I'm in there. Many of these creators, all these creators are in there, and this is the way that they all kind of communicate with one another. So you got to check that out. We mentioned Sylvan Sentinels again in the new products time. This is a little micro setting in place of the same world as Saga of the Goblin Horde. Pre-generated characters and adventure, all that. Definitely go take a look. Team Badger. I don't know anything about this one, so let's take a look a little bit closer. Team Badger. The Y universe has changed forever when the regenerating mutant Badger took the Omega Overdrive Serum. The serum made his regeneration fast, and he got into some gruesome battle with Lady Slicer. Parts of Badger grew into fully functional individuals who resembled versions of Badger, but with his normal level of regeneration. These individuals were joined by Hal, a robot designed by Dr. Dark to replicate Badger, but Hal's heroic programming overrode Dr. Dark's diabolic plan. Working as part of the International Superpowered Response Organization known as Gamma Operations, these Badger clones formed Team Badger. Interesting. The initial venture, Training Gone Bad, it has a team attacked at their home defense and investigation into who is behind the cyber attack. Additional adventure ideas and NPCs are provided if the GM wishes to run a Team Badger mini campaign. Venture 2 adds 10 pages of adventure and NPCs to the original product. Interesting. Recommend having Superhouse Companion, Sunfish Companion, and Suede are highly recommended. So it does require a lot of product if you don't have it before. I don't think it doesn't say it's required. But recommended. So take a look at that. Interesting. Where do we go? Case of the Birthday Death Day. So this is one of those larger adventures for City Guard Chronicles. I have not run this one yet. I've run 3 of 5, and this is the 5th one. So I think you still need to run number 4, run number 5. It's one of those adventures that my wife's like, if you run these, I need to be a part of it. And I'm happy to oblige. So I will need to run both this one and the 4th one, Case of the Mountain Light, sometime soon, because I really want to run those adventures and have them under my, in my mind to play in the future again. The Cursed Place. Not familiar with this one. Let's see. The Cursed Place. A pack of werewolves has spotted the party traveling through their tribal lands, and though it is tradition to feast upon any group so audacious, the pack leader has formulated a plan to seize leadership of the entire tribe, and these foolhardy adventurers are exactly what he's looking for. So it's like it's an encounter with for like your, I guess, like a fancy game to put up against your adventurers. So imagine it's a little bit more than like counter. It's probably like a micro adventure for your players. We got the Diamond Serpent, the Mascarian Folktale. I'm not familiar with this at all. People vanish in the hills. A frontier town pleads for help. Trail leads through tribal lands and war-torn wilderness to a cursed cave where a legendary serpent is said to guard the underworld's riches. Take the lead and prove yourself worthy of being a folk hero. Is it rooted in folklore of the Mascarian ethnic minority? Playing frontier tribe mythic guardianship. I'm not familiar. What is Mascarian? Am I like just completely oblivious? Where? Okay. Okay. So it's like Eastern European somewhat. Interesting. Okay. I have learned something today. All right, man, we still have quite a few products here. The next one, the Gobfather. This is another adventure thing that's been around for a bit. It's 2020, so this has been around for a while, actually. From Richard Woolcock. This is the Gobfather. It is a 6-page mini crossover setting with Saga of the Goblin Horde and Wise Guys. Saga of the Goblin Horde is a very well-known Savage Worlds adventure. I unfortunately have not had the privilege of running it yet. Wise Guys is also a Ace licensed product that I believe I have the PDFs for. I don't have a print copy currently. I would like to get one eventually, where you play as like mobsters in like the 70s, kind of running gambling and all that kind of stuff. So really fun. And you can run this for Suede. There's also a separate 3-page conversion guide to play this in TriCube Tales. And you can check out TriCube Tales, another system that kind of was developed by the same people who kind of worked on Saga of the Goblin Horde. And a lot of Savage Worlds creators have made micro adventures for TriCube Tales for their settings, like Vermilion has. There's a whole entire campaign setting for Monster Truckers from Tabletop Games that's running TriCube Tales. I haven't had the privilege of running TriCube Tales yet, or like really get into it, but it's a very simple system, much simpler than Savage Worlds is. I think it's one of the reasons people enjoy it. D6 based, like pretty much all D6s. We have another Adventure of Doom, which is the Jungle. Oh, sorry, I missed one. The Jade Dragon. There's a lot of stuff for the Jade Dragon already out, but it's a pulp style seaplane adventure. So you are part of the Pacific Theater in World War II. You are going on different adventures in the Himalayas and South China Sea, all that kind of stuff. You are some pre-generated characters. There's equipment. There's some full-length adventure that takes heroes from season to heroic. A lot of fun kind of stuff in here, and there's a lot of other products out there that supports this as well. Like they released a bunch of products at once when they released this. And I feel like in that same vein, we got like the Jungle Petrospheres here. Let's see here. Again, 1930s, you are part of the Guardians of Antiquity, and you're going to go find some sort of antique, I guess. Are relics antiques? Is that technically true? Like, are those like all of those things technically antiques? But you can run the full adventure with pre-made characters. That's your kind of thing. Like Indiana Jones, treasure hunting kind of games are your speed. Check that out. All right, 3 more here. We got The Signal. This is an adventure. I believe I talked about it earlier when it came out. It's like, hey, look at this new product. So back in April, May time period. You're part of an adventuring group, you're part of an asteroid mining ship, and you're on your way to Earth, and you get an emergency distress beacon from a Mars terraforming ship, and so you just gotta go aid them. Hey, they need aid immediately, otherwise they're gonna die. And there's your adventure plot hook, and who knows what else happens. You can if you buy this bundle and take a look at it. Trader Voyages. Trader Voyages. What is this? This one I'm not familiar with. Trade is an important part of any continent, world, and galaxy. There are numerous examples of tales told by traders and adventures they went on, willingly or unwillingly. Being a trader is even a dream for many, to become a master of their own fate. Trader's Voyage is a canvas on which whole RPG campaigns can be drawn. So the supplement, it provides compact rules to find the middle ground for including trading in your game. A fast resolving mechanic to handle the trading aspects of a voyage, from negotiating contracts over dealing with problematic cargo to the nightmare of the heroes finding themselves without lucrative work. Trader Voyages has you covered. Every step of this supplement can be fully played out, seen, or handled by quick encounters or dramatic tasks with minimum narration. That looks fun. I'll look into that. I'm gonna download this real quick and take a look. See what this looks like. Okay, so we got different kind of payouts, vessels, trading contracts, complications, goods and rarity, having a voyage without contract. Oh, we got some tables. That's great. That looks great. I'll have to definitely dive into this more later. All right, and last thing is, with great pets comes great responsibility. Great opportunity. So this is a document which you can find 10 superheroes designed for all power levels, all sharing an animal companion power. But just because they all have the same core ability doesn't mean they are all similar, and far from it. So basically, these are about 10 superheroes with animal companions for your superpowers companion. It does require superpowers companion to run this game, so keep that in mind. So that's fair. As part of the FFF F25. So if you aren't familiar with FFFF, it's Fast, Furious, Fun February, and it's a time for a bunch of creators to make a bunch of products, usually centered around some sort of theme. I believe this past year was animals, something like that. So that makes sense of what this is. So really cool little product. Take a look at that as well. There's a lot of good products in here, as always, and I highly recommend that you check out this bundle. And even if you don't want most things, if you see something you do want, there is that deal going on currently for up to 40% off a lot of SWAGtember stuff. See if anything else is on sale. And if you, by the way, if you want to support the channel, there is a link down below to get this through my affiliate link. That does help the channel by doing so. It does not affect the creators at all. The 7% is how much the affiliate is for DriveThruRPG, 7%, and that comes out of the percentage that DriveThruRPG keeps. So none of this is coming out of any of the creators stuff or anything. I know sometimes people are concerned that, hey, if I use an affiliate link, does the person who made the product get less? And in this case, that's not true. So take a look at that, and if you want to help support the channel, if you can buy through that, I really appreciate it. I really appreciate all of you hanging out with me today to kind of look over these. Love to hear you guys' thoughts. So if you're watching this on video on demand, talk about these products. I talk about these, and I'd love to hear more of your thoughts on particular ones. If there's one that you like the most, put it down in the comment below. What is your favorite product? Yeah, let's just do that. Whatever your favorite product is from this SWAGtember bundle, leave a comment down below, and we can discuss it in the comments and see what you all think. Thank you all for hanging out with me, and I hope you have a great week. Next week, we are going to be talking with Mike Lafferty from Fainting Goat Games about Starbeard. So look forward to that. And then the week after, I'm working on someone I'll be bringing on. He's got a really cool Kickstarter, but it's not Savage Worlds. So be ready for that. It's going to be a little bit different than usual. I'm looking forward to it, though. Enjoy your week, everyone, and I'll see you all next week. Cheers.